Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of You Can't Stop, Step Up. Today, we have a very interesting topic. Our topic today is behind parenting. As you all know, the pandemic has really hit us in different ways, shape, and forms. And so today, I am so excited, because I have very wonderful people that are going to be telling us a little bit about their parenting journey. So I'm just going to dive right in and start introducing all my guests to the show. My first guest today is Alicia Lafourcade. Welcome.
Hello, my dear.
How
Hello,
are you?
hello. I'm good. I'm good. It's Saturday evening, sun is shining, and real life, man. It's good.
Yes, I'm excited for this topic. Are you?
Yes, very much so.
All
Thank you
right.
for having me.
All right. All right. So our next person is Ugo and Michaela Okolo.
Hey everybody, hi.
Hello. Are you guys excited?
Hello.
Oh yeah, we're so excited to be on the show and can't wait to get started.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. Anytime. Like I was saying, Alicia, I'm excited about this topic, especially with the pandemic, treating us in different ways, shape, and form. So, I can't wait to start the conversation. Anyways, but let me get the other person in. So, our next guest today is Francisca and Stephen Okolo. Welcome. How are you? How are you guys doing? Oh, unmute yourself. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Okay, so
They're doing so good. We can't hear them. They're doing good. They're radiating.
they're doing good. They're doing okay.
Yes. Look at how they're shining there.
Okay, so on our last but not the least is my special guest. Her name is Jackie, and I am excited to have her on today. So welcome, Jackie.
Hi,
How
hello.
are you?
I'm doing great. I love this. I'm so honored to be here. This is amazing.
Of course,
Yeah.
anytime. So guys, let me just give like a brief introduction of everybody on the screen. I'm gonna start with Alicia because she's the first person I see on my screen. Alicia is my mentor, and I'm excited to have her on. My brother and his wife, my brother and his wife. I mean, they're my family. My mom and my dad are on here today, and I really want to say a big thank you to them because right now in Nigeria it's 11 p.m. and as you can imagine, they should be, but they decided to come on the show today. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Jackie, believe it or not, I just met Jackie yesterday. We had a wonderful conversation, and I decided to bring her on as a special guest. She's actually going to be moderating the show today. She's going to be asking the questions, all the wonderful questions. So, Jackie, hey, it's all you now. So go ahead and get us in.
Wow. Well, I'm really honored again, as I'm saying. This is incredible. Um, it's a little bit overwhelming, the feeling that to be able to come right into your home with your brother and his beautiful wife and children and your mentor and your parents. You're a testimony of what the inside of parenting really is, that you're that close to your whole family, and they support you and your endeavors and support being, a tight family. And especially in this time and when there's so much unknown, that it is so nice to have a strong foothold with your roots and your family and where you come from. And we started just a little talking, a little chit-chatting, ended up being 4 hours yesterday. We might have like,
Yes.
what just happened? It was 4 hours. So I'm just honored to know you. And then now that you allow me into your life with all your beautiful your people, and it's beautiful. So I'm really honored. I don't take it lightly at all, and it's beautiful to know that there's support and love. So if you don't mind, I always love to just, even if we take a few seconds of just like we did this also, just a little couple breaths together, just silence, to silence ourselves. This is such a needed topic and so needed to be centered individually and then collectively. So we are of the same breath, of the same essence. If we can just settle into that being within ourselves, that we can connect together. So we can just close our eyes and just even take a few breaths. Okay. I'd like to thank you, and in gratitude, I'm very thankful to be here. And I think parenting is the most amazing job. We have everybody in different seasons of the parenting path, and I think that's what makes it so beautiful. And I'd like to go a little more intimate introductions, a little bit more of who you are, where you are in life a little bit, where as far as like, how are you married, how long, if you have children, what season in that parenting journey are you in? And I'd like to know like two words that describe you. And I think it's really important for husband and wife to both speak a little bit. I'm like, Kayla's going for that. So you both have a voice, right? So this is kind of a space to kind of have our voice, to kind of share the voice. And then we're going to delve into some questions and just to be really honest and open. And I feel that however, now that we've kind of collected ourselves, our essence together, that whatever is said or shared here, hopefully can resonate to others. So if there's something that comes into your mind and you feel like, a little hesitant, someone who's listening may really need to hear those words. So just allow yourself to freely express, and we have no idea. It's like the pebble in the little pond, how far this may go. So let's just be really free and open and allow the fact that you're here, you're so willing and so full of love. Let's just spread that out, especially in this time right now. So if we wouldn't mind, so Naomi, you're staying in? Are you
in? That's fine. Go ahead.
Because I'd love to see you there, but you're free to do whatever you want to do.
I'm good.
Okay. Well, why don't we start? I would love to hear from Michaela a little bit about where you, who are you, real quick? How long it looks like you're happily married and you have children, and what season in this parenting are you in? And just two quick words that describe you, like not knowing it all. Like there's two words that come to your mind about you.
All right. So we have been married we were actually going back and forth about 5.5 years if we want to get really technical. So we got married in 2015 and have been together in total for about 7 years. And then our oldest daughter, Zara, she is 3 years old, just turned 3 years old. And we have Amara, who you may hear. She is playing around, so you might hear her in the background. She is soon to be 1. And so we've been parents for the past 3 years. And I would say, if I think of the first two words that come to mind, and one of them is kind of more related to parenting, was teacher came to mind. I love to teach the girls. I love watching them learn and grow. So that was the first word that came to mind when I just think of parenting. And then just kind of a word that I'd say to describe myself in general is positive. I just always try to have a positive energy, positive outlook. That's something that's kind of just ingrained in me, I feel like. So those would be my words.
That's beautiful. Thank goodness you have children that you're going to be able to, get that out. And what a beautiful environment that they're growing up in, and that you love to teach, especially in the pandemic. So you're teaching your children. That's amazing. I feel like we're going to get you out there. It's beautiful. That's absolutely. What a lucky guy you are, Ugo. Let's hear from you.
Yeah. Well, I'll just kind of piggyback of what my wife said. We've been married for 5 years too as well. And as far as parenting, the word that just kind of comes to mind for me is just protector. I love that my daughters can look at me and just feel safe. Like if we're somewhere that they are not comfortable or come to me and talk to me about certain things. And then I feel like the other words that also describe me too would be compassionate. I try to always, have a listening ear to anybody that wants to talk to me and, just hear them out. Because you never know what anybody's going through. And the last thing you want to do is, especially during this period, the last thing you want to do is, shut them off. You just want to be there for them and show compassion. And that can take different forms, but as long as you're there and you're showing the compassion, I think that drives that message home. But those are the two words that describe me. And that's just me in a nutshell. So.
I love that. Wow, this is amazing. That's beautiful. I'm glad you guys found each other because you can both each other. I think that's amazing. I love it. What an honor to be in the same space with you.
Thank you.
Oh, yes. Yes, thank you. Okay. Naomi, would you like to go ahead and take the moment of silence?
Yes, I was gonna say, I'm sorry. Let's just take like a moment of silence for Chadwick that passed yesterday. I don't know why I didn't do that at the very beginning. It skipped my mind. I just remembered it, and I just want us to take a moment of silence to, to just remember his memories. Amen.
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 Okay, you want to tell us about you a little bit and then a couple words about you?
Me? Oh, now I'm on the hot seat. Okay, cool. I've been married for what? I'll be 5 years.
Okay.
Legally in September, and I've been married for my husband for 5 years legally, and then I'll be 5 years next year. Not legally, but anyways. But I didn't prepare for this. You put me on the spot.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
So,
Okay, fine.
but one word I would say, I have one, or myself and my husband, we have one toddler. She's 3 years old. Very energetic, beautiful girl. One word to describe, or two words to describe me, I would say, again, I'm positive. I try to find like the positive in every situation, hence the reason why this platform came about. There's a lot of negative going on right now, and I just try to stay positive and try to focus. And then the second thing is just pretty much grit. Grit in what it is that I do, grit in, raising my daughter, grit in being a wife, a mom, and everything that comes with it. And I would say those are the two words, so positive and grit.
Nice. Perfect. Excellent. Alicia.
Well, what can I say? I've been married for 19 years. I've been with my husband for 21 years, I think. And I am definitely in 3 seasons of parenting at the same time.
Oh.
I have a 19-year-old, a 12-year-old who is about to be 13, a girl. My eldest is a boy. And then my last kid is 3, going to be 4 in 2 months. She also is special needs, and that doesn't keep her back. She's just extra special, period. So I have 3 seasons of experience all rolled into one. And 2 words to describe me would be optimistic and alive.
Oh, nice. Oh, I love that. Beautiful. And then as far as how about your parents are not?
Her parents.
Yes.
They're not on now, but not, I think we'll know when they get on. So.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Alicia. I wanted just to comment on that. That's beautiful. And I don't know, that's hard to do 3 seasons under one roof.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. And that you have your special, I think we all have special needs, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, special. So that's incredible. And you're still happy to be alive, especially during this pandemic and all. So kudos. I love that.
It's been enriching. The
Yeah.
pandemic has not been a pandemic in the way that we've been using it in my world. At least the way, again, I guess my optimism has a lot to do with it. So when Norma invited me to be on this show, I was like, oh yeah, I'm coming. It's as parenting, it's not I won't use the word pandemic at all.
Very nice. Yes, I know. I usually like to say I have friends who will call it a global like mental pause. It's just like a pause. Just like let's pause. Families are coming together. There's a lot of beautiful. The way I kind of see the whole thing is like a little caterpillar and in our little cocoons, and then such an opposite thing that comes out of it, right? The butterflies, like you never expect that. So I am very curious to see what we're not expecting that's going to come out of all of this. I'll just say really quick for myself, my name is Jackie, or Jacqueline also you can say, and I'm very honored to be here. I've been married 29 years. We have 4 children, and the season we're in is kind of like empty nest and then not. And then empty nest, it's like the birdies keep coming back, and I love it because there's a lot of flexing going. So my youngest is 18 and my oldest is 27. And those 2 are home like for a second right now, and then to go. And then we're going to go see our other one that's up in LA. So they're in and out. And I have one in the Air Force, and so he's not coming home anytime soon. But anyway, and the 2 words to describe me, I used to teach an adult ed, so I used to ask this question a lot. And then I finally asked my husband, how would you describe me in 2 words? And he goes, I got it, spirited and spiritual. It's like, oh, I love that.
Beautiful.
I love to just, that's me in a nutshell. And I like that. I think that I'm glad that someone from outside can see that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and ask some questions. This is so lovely. I'd love to spend 4 hours and continue talking, but I'd like to ask, there's 5 basic questions that I feel are really, that can be used in any in-depth conversation. So number 1, this is being parenting, and I'm going to just ask it, and whoever's comfortable saying can. I'm not going to, ask this certain name. So when it comes to your mind, what do you love most about being the parent to your particular children, to your offspring? Not just parenting in general, but what is it that you love about being the parents to your children?
The discovery. I'll go. The discovery of love in new ways, and the reality that comes with each phase of their growing. I am in awe every time I look at my children. I am in awe every time I look at them, and to witness them transform and evolve into who they are, not who I am wanting them to become. Sometimes it lines up with my vision and sometimes it doesn't, but it is the most beautiful, amazing thing that I am honored to witness, and being a parent to me is such a gift. Whether you give birth yourself or you become a bonus parent, it is just such an amazing way that we transform and transfer and translate love.
Yeah, I love that.
Out language, that it is simply moments of awe. And when you're able to sit down and take a moment to witness it and appreciate it, it's just mind-blowing. And that is my most beautiful part of parenting my children.
I love that. And I love the transform, translate, and transfer love. That is beautiful.
That's what it is. Parenting is love in various forms.
Right.
In a nutshell, that's basically what parenting is.
I love that. And the fact
the minute we try to evolve it more than that, that's when we get into trouble.
Right. Right. And it's so beautiful that you can say this with such conviction with the 3 different children at all the different stages and all the different needs and everything. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I think to kind of piggyback of what Alicia said, for me, and my wife can speak for herself when it comes to this, but I never knew that unconditional love could go past what you had for your significant other till my daughters arrived. And to kind of expatiate on that a little better, like there's certain things that my daughters do that we laugh about it, we joke about it, but then it's almost to the point where it's like, oh my gosh, like even though they did whatever they did, that love is still there. You just love them so much, you want the best for them. So regardless of what they do, it's almost like okay, like I love them. Like we were blessed with them, kind of like what Alicia said, and it's just like you go back to bed, you wake up one morning, you're looking at them, you're like, oh my god, are we really blessed to have, like our daughters like this? Like today, Alicia, kind of, going off of that again, my wife took a picture because we went to the restaurant of our daughter, and I was just like looking at her, and I'm like, how did she come from
Right.
both of us? Like, because I'm looking at her and I'm like, you look more like your mom.
Yeah.
Where am I in this whole thing? It's cool watching all of that happen, all of that unfold. And that's the uniqueness of just parenting that I love. And I'm sure my wife has something to say.
Yeah. Well, mommy is definitely my favorite title that I've ever had. So definitely not to get into too much, but for us, we were told before we had our second daughter that we couldn't have any more children by 3 different doctors. We were told like there's like no way that you'd be able to conceive again. And so naturally, so that was just kind of really like, it just kind of even showed us even more how like blessed and thankful we are to be parents, to have that. And she's a miracle baby, and we believe both of our babies, and all babies are miracles, but especially after being told that we wouldn't be able to have a second child naturally. So yeah, we definitely love being parents, and like that unconditional love, kind of as you spoke to, is my favorite part about being a parent too. And I'll just say, recently Zara has said a couple of things to me that just like made my heart smile. She'll say, "Mommy, I love you, and you're my best friend." And I'm like, oh. So there's little moments like that are just little reminders of how much, I love being a mom.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. And I feel like they're a reflection of how you are giving them so much love. And if they're saying what they're hearing, so whatever you're hearing that you're loving is they're they're repeating it back. I think that's beautiful. I love that. And I have to agree too. The biggest title is when my kids now they're like much taller than me. They're older, and they're like, "Mom," and I get teary-eyed like that being is calling me mom. Like
Right.
what is the biggest honor ever? Like ever. Like I get chills even thinking about it. I tell them, I love it. So yes, we have your mommy and daddy back on.
Yes.
Yes. Can you hear us, Francesca? Can they hear me?
I think to be able to, we could have mute them, but we can go on. So Alicia spoke. Okay, Alicia spoke. Already. So yeah. So they
I think they're from. I mean, I'd like to ask them the question. Since two of their children on here, what they love about me. Did you guys freeze up the mic? Hi, can you hear me? Francesca? Oh, they're gone.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get them to text their thoughts.
Yes. So I'll just have them
share it. Yeah.
So,
Have them text their thoughts in, and we can at least get their words from them.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's beautiful. And I love this. Thank you so much for everyone sharing those comments. And I feel like as parents, all of us are going like this every time,
Right.
Beautiful. And I don't know, Naomi, if you're going to be wanting to answer the question or not. You're just here. You're just with us. You're just.
Well, I mean, so the question was, what do I love about being a parent? I mean, I think everyone has pretty much said everything. I think just to add on that, I would say it just gives me, being a parent actually gives me something to like when I'm thinking about, like, I don't think about myself anymore. It's now, my child. So like whatever I'm doing, she's always my constant reminder that you can't give up on your journey. You can't give up on anything that you put your mind to, right? Before a kid, it's like, oh, I'm just responsible for myself and my husband, but now you actually have a little human being that is looking after you. So as much as you want to give up and you want to get tired or get frustrated, like, I can do that, but I can't stay there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to do that. It's okay to get frustrated. It's okay to be like, okay, I just need a break, a mommy break or a daddy break, right? But it's not enough for you to just stay in that phase of negativity or sadness or, whatever it is. That's pretty much it for me.
Very nice. Okay, so the other, I guess your parents aren't on, but the other question is, and it's one that I know we're really positive and we're really, and loving all of us. It sounds like we love being parents, but the other side of that coin is, and you touched on a little bit, is that what don't we like about being parents to our children? Because I feel that, and so we had 10 years ago, we had asked this to teenagers and parents. What don't they like about being like the child to this parent? And the same for the parents about the children. And that underlying feeling is there, and until it comes to the surface and is discussed, then it can't really be addressed. So I'm just going to say, and we don't need to. If you feel comfortable saying the third question is, what are the stresses that you're under being a parent? If you'd rather just kind of lump those two together, is fine as well. Or if you want to separate the two questions, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but if you feel comfortable. But I feel a lot of times that the negative, the harder issues aren't talked about as much. And so a lot of people feel they're all alone doing these things. And the only ones feeling that way. So I think that it is healthy to talk about it. But I will just say that my son wrote out what he didn't like about me. And it was, it's kind of, you think you're the, you're the best parent in the world, and then all of a sudden your child writes about it, and you're like, oh. And what he had said, I listened to everything he says, and I verbatim repeat it and use it against him. Now that's something I wouldn't know that I do until he told me. And he goes, you do that to dad too. And then he goes, and you're doing it and I'll be talking, listening. He goes, and you're doing that right now. So it's kind of like more accountability buddy in a sense as they get a little bit older. And I think with the little ones, we can see like in some of their behaviors, if you're noticing like, oh, I do get like that sometimes. And if it's something of how to deal with stress or however they're doing it, they might be reflecting how we are in the positive way, and also maybe how we our coping mechanisms at times, Yeah. So when I had to rewrite, and as each season changes, right now, Alicia, that you're in the 3 different seasons, it's different for each relationship. We not lump them all together, but yes, every one of them is different completely. And so what I would have just recently rewritten out to my daughters, because I want to keep it fresh, and I'm changing, they're changing, the relationship is changing. The thing I had a pause, and this is why it's really good to actually write these answers out. I had to pause and realize, what is it that I don't like? Because is it, oh, their socks are left in the floor? Is it, no, that's not really it. Or they left some dishes. No, that's not it. What is it that really gets me is when I don't have that communication. I think that, to me, that's when I really go, like, when I have to get to the base of the source of the frustration is when I don't have that communication. Then I have to dissect what's happening that breaks down. And like, for instance, we are going up to LA to go see my daughter. So what's something that you would say you don't like? It's difficult to being a parent. Or if you like to add like the stresses, but if you'd like to share, what are some of the difficulties about being a parent?
So for me, difficulty with being a parent is I don't like the level of adulting that I have to do.
Okay, I like that.
Okay.
Amen.
Especially this year. In the last few years, I've had to adult on a level that I have, first of all, I've never witnessed. Okay. And I am on the clock 24/7 adulting for 3 different seasons.
We're all going like this.
Okay. So to be honest, that is I think that's the one thing I don't like, because it comes with a level of responsibility that you don't always want. If you're honest with yourself, if you could run away, you would. since the pandemic, I've said to people, we used to be able to run into a bathroom and hide out, and that was our hideaway spot. Now, the little one, from the little one to the grown one, they find their way inside of the bathroom. It doesn't matter what you're doing or what you're not doing. And, the constant, I forgot who it is that just says, mommy, 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 mom, mom, mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ma, me,
Yeah.
ma.
Okay. So that is a constant in my times 3. All right. So I've started escaping to my car, and I would just go sit in. My car is my new hiding spot. And then sometimes if they realize it, I literally have to drive off so that I'm not even in the parking lot. I don't feel guilty, but the adulting has been a struggle for me. The thing is, we haven't done this in a while, but communication is big in my world, and it's something I stress with each of my kids, and in just about everything that I do. A few years ago, we started doing family meetings,
Right.
and one of the things, even with my son at that time, my son's friends, whoever is there, is not just limited to whoever is, one of my son's buddies used to be very regularly over at our home. So we would include him, my nephews, and we would have a circle and we sit down and we chat. And it was like, okay, I want you guys, this is honest, open field. Don't think you're offending me in any way, because this is how I will grow and how we become better. Tell me what you don't like that I do.
Exactly.
What do I do that you don't like? And then what do I do that you do like?
Right.
I'm going to tell you the same thing, and coming out of that. So I have quite a potty mouth. All right. I'm quite the sailor from time to time. Okay. Jesus is still working on me. He's still there, and it's a process, but my kids were honest and they said, look, I don't particularly like it when I hear you become, quite the sailor,
Okay.
and a couple of the things came out that was doable, and you're like, okay, yeah, I get that and I see it, and then they said, you talk too much, you go over and over about this too much, and it's necessary for us to hear what our kids think. Our kids have an ability to see what we don't see,
Right.
and in order for us to be effective parents, we have to know what we're doing. Is it working? Why is it not working? Because we're not listening to them. Would we like if somebody did it to us? So the same way we want them to listen to us, we need to listen to them. So I've done that, and it's something that I appreciate doing. And the stressful part of parenting, I think I see Miss Helen on the live with us, and the stressful part, I'm with her on that, where she says, when you can't provide, when you see needs and you're not able to provide. And this is not my kids, bless God, my kids are not kids who they want the brand name everything, and they want, they're not that. There are some basic needs that I'm not always able to provide, and that hits me in the gut. That is what brings my most stress, but that's the reality of the world, and then we find a way to grow through it together.
That's
So that's me.
That's beautiful. I think, and it's beautiful to hear that those conversations are happening in the homes, because I feel a lot of times we're almost too afraid to ask that question, what don't you like?
Yeah.
But I feel like it's there and we can't, you probably thought, oh, speaking like that with them was kind of fun, but they're like, I really don't like that. Like, but you wouldn't have known if you didn't ask.
Yeah.
How many things are we not asking? Like, what don't you like? Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you.
And it's not, I must say that it's not always that parents are afraid to ask those questions. Sometimes we get genuinely so caught up in parenting that we just don't think about it. We really don't. And depending on the cultural background you come from as well, that has a lot to play with the dynamic of how you parent. So, coming from a Caribbean culture background, we didn't have a parent. Listen, you do what I tell you to do, and that's just it. There's no what do you like. However, I deliver my message to you, you better understand it and do it. But fortunately, I'm thankful for the way I am and being able to. I've been around varying cultures, and I've taken from the different cultures and experiences working and being friends with people from different backgrounds and taking the things that I see that work,
Right. Right.
incorporate it.
And I love it that we can ask our children that, because then we can explain to them as well, and that we're not perfect, right? So it's like we're always evolving, all of us. And I think sometimes as parents, we want to be like, no, we have this, we know exactly what we're doing, and it's all new. It's new to us as well.
Right. Norma, are you sharing the questions that were sent to us? Are those going to be shared, or should I?
We can share to like on the comment
what we're doing now. Because
no, but I can
asked actually plays into what Jackie is talking about right now.
I think what I would do is when I can post it after to people to actually ask to actually respond to it as a form, so that way we kind of get more responses from the public as well.
Yes.
And for them to ask their kids. I mean, these are the questions to ask their kids, and the kids to ask their parents as well. I think that. Where from the Caribbean are you from?
Trinidad and Tobago, the most heavenly of all the islands.
That's so nice.
Next to Venezuela.
Okay, because I was born in Puerto Rico.
Hello, sister.
Hello.
We're family.
What's that?
I said we're family.
We're family. I knew it. I felt it.
Yes.
Great. Yes.
I love
it.
You understand parenting from a cultural background.
Yes, multicultural, yes, for sure. Very good. And how about Ugo and Michaela? Do you guys want to?
Yeah. So I think the thing that for me with parenting that is like either the hardest or just maybe that I don't necessarily like is the stress that comes with it. So that was kind of like a second question, and that second question really is like the answer kind of that first one for me is like that added stress can be extremely difficult. And especially I think for parents right now that are at home, like we're, kind of constantly at home all together. Some people are doing schooling at home and work from home and obviously parenting. And so that is so much to take on. So the stress is definitely the thing that I like the least. And also there's, I kind of feel bad for saying this word, but there's like that freedom when you like before children that you could just go travel when you wanted. You just up and have your me time whenever you needed. I'd say like, bye, I'm going to go get my nails done. Like I'd have more that me time. So now if I leave even for an hour, I'm like constantly thinking about like, how are things? I mean, I know he can handle everything at home, but I'm still like, oh, I need to hurry up and get home. So yeah, just kind of that freedom. Another example, we went, like he said, to have like brunch today. And it used to be fun to go brunch together, and we had such a good time. And our brunch started out really nice. And by the end of it, we're like, oh my gosh, like, let's just get these girls home. Like they need to take their nap. And so yeah, we love being parents. I said positivity is, one word to describe me, but like, there's also this realness of like, parenting is hard. It's the hardest job to me, like, I think in the world, because you do like what you do and how you raise your children is definitely going to impact them the rest of their lives. So there's like that pressure of knowing like, okay, like I want to be the best parent I can be, but also know like nobody's perfect. Like Jesus is the only one that was perfect. So we're not perfect and we can't be perfect parents, but we can be our best. And that's what I strive for and always pray for is please just help me be the best mom I can possibly be.
That's beautiful. That's if I can ask you, so under all this stress, and then with the now that the lockdown, all that, what ways do you deal with that stress? Like I know you say maybe you get away, you get a little me time. Is there something that you can? What else are you with that?
We actually have we haven't been we've been blessed enough to be able to still take our children to daycare throughout the pandemic. But I will say I was giving my husband a hard time because Monday mornings at about 9 a.m. when he walks in the door after dropping off the girls, he's like doing a happy dance and he's like, hey, like completely different. I was like, wait a minute, you just were like super crabby right before you left, and then you come home and like the girls are like but the girls are at daycare and it's like a different person. So and with that, I guess something that like with the stresses, it can cause so much stress on your marriage. So I think that's something like we always, and my parents have told us, like, don't let your children come in between you. Don't let them cause division, because like you need to be a united front when you're parenting. And that's been so hard. And I think it gets harder through those stages in life, like teenage years. Like that's going to be even harder to make sure that we're on the same page and united as one. So.
Well, that's beautiful. Just a couple things when you were saying about your me time. I think that is so important. I'm so glad that you do know that that's, even my 27-year-old, they go, oh, you're home. I want to be here with you. But my daughter, yeah, he goes, Mom, I need me time. I would never just me time. When he's 27, single, all that. I'm like, I'm so glad that it is. And it's like okay to claim that, you know, have that me time, because he, and I'm sure you give so much to everybody, at the times. But also, I do remember when we had the 4 little babies, we were really big about doing a date night. And I don't know with the pandemic or how that works, if you have family near you. And I actually had 11 babysitters that I would have, that I knew, or I had every single one of them came from my family. And when I would talk to them, the parents of those girls said they never had those date nights. They go, date nights, and we connected. Like, he's happy dancing when the girls were, because he feels like he's a protector, right? He's protecting, and the minute, like, okay, now they're out, I can relax, and I can be, your husband, and I can be myself, and I can, it's a different, the hat can come off a little bit, that he can relax. So I think that, and I'm just a huge advocate for that date night, so that I remember my parents, when we all started leaving, like, they didn't recognize each other anymore for 25 years. Like, who is this person, And just to hold hands and not having to hold all the girlies' hands and do this and that, and just kind of remember who it is you're in love with, and and of course we love our children, but it's also, there's a different, obviously, relationship than with your spouse when they're not there, that you're not being mom and your daddy, and obviously you are, So I don't know if you have time to do that, and then with the pandemic, it's a whole other thing. But do you guys get some time alone, the 2 of you?
We do. I mean, we.
That smile. They do.
I try. So, and she's probably laughing because I have my babies. We have our babysitter's number, but I'm usually one that is like, all right, we need to like get out. We need to like do something, because I'm about to like lose my mind just being in here with my kids and all of that. Like, I love my kids. Don't get me wrong, my daughters. But after a while, it's like, what about us? Like, where are we? Right. And so there'll be times where I tell her that, hey, we need to have date night, or there'll be times where I'll just take it on and do it myself and just let her know, hey, I planned this and we're gonna do this. And then she's like, what about the babysitter? I'm like, I already took care of that. Don't worry about that.
He's a keeper.
Yeah, I know. Just because it's so easy to get like, sucked into this whole idea of parenting, and you forget you got like both of you in the process. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So we always make a conscious effort to like put that there as well, as far as like taking the time we need for each other. It's almost like a quick escape. And then we come back to reality and we're like, oh yeah, we're parents again. But it's nice. It's definitely nice.
But I want to say something, if you don't mind, because I noticed 2 things. One, you're definitely Norma's brother. Okay, you guys share some similarities there when you spoke about needing your time.
Yeah.
Your wife said, Michaela said, she's concerned about parenting when they get older in the teenage years, and I remember that used to be a thought for me. But what I discovered, and Jackie, you can tell me if it's the same in your world. What I discovered is that the older they get, it's not that it becomes more difficult to parent. The older they get, you have to let them go.
That's the hardest thing.
The, the
Yeah.
reality of that
Yeah.
gets confused with parenting. So you are there fighting to hold on to the control when that's when you're supposed to release them and trust that the parenting that you did when they were younger
Right.
has settled them enough for them to stand up on their own.
And
And
exactly.
it's not easy. And even within your marriage, even if you have date nights now, you are both going to be continuously evolving in yourselves. So, one, you need individual time for you. And two, yes, you have that date night. But it's just as important for you to stay grounded within yourself, because we have a lot of us who hold on to our kids, for their life. And then when it's time for them to leave, now you are finding stress and all sorts of arguments pop up, not only with your spouse, but with the kid. And it's just, and it's all because the inevitable evolution of life of having to let go has come to your face. When my son entered 6th grade, I started mentally preparing myself to let him go. Was it easy when he left for college? No. And he'll tell you that, mommy still wants me to call every day. I want to, yes. Text, shoot me, but I'm not depending on him to be in my world as if I would have if I didn't prepare to let him go and trust that my parenting is going to do what it needs to do. It's hard, but you need to do that for your own self, and especially with girls, parenting girls, I will say this confidently. Parenting girls is much more difficult than parenting a boy.
Yes, I can agree to that.
Okay?
I can agree.
100%.
We don't know any difference.
It's talking about how we grew up, and it's just the reality from
Yeah.
the pregnancy to delivery to living with them.
Right.
Parenting a girl comes, and each girl is different than the other. But it's a beautiful process. So don't, Michaela. It's not going to get more difficult. You just become more realistic with yourself, and you begin to discover yourself on a deeper level the older your children get. And sometimes the reality of that can scare us,
Yeah.
but it's all good. We have the village here.
Yeah, for sure.
If that doesn't work, a glass of wine usually helps.
Right. And that reminds me, my sister-in-law, we first started having babies, she said, parenthood is the only job you work yourself out of a job if you do a good job.
Yeah, well said.
Isn't that, man? I always thought of that.
I love that.
And today, so my baby finally turned 18, and then my son and my daughter were here, and they're like, yeah, I could do my things. I go, you know what, you guys are 18. Your life, you responsible for yourselves. And it has to keep shifting, as far as the parenting, as far as then you've done everything you can, and yeah, you work yourself out of that job, but you're still in their lives, and they're still want to be here, and they want to. So it's just as we're shifting, it's shifting. And a friend of mine told me when we first started with babies, something that really stuck with me is choose your battles carefully and be prepared to die on the hill. Not nagging and nagging and nagging and nagging, but pick something that if it's something that you draw the line and that's it, then they know that's it. Okay, we can't cross that line, whatever that happens to be. But don't be so worried about every little thing.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
You got to put that up on the wall. I love that statement from your friend. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, so I feel like your parents are coming in and out, but they're not on the screen. So
yes, we're just move. Let's just go ahead, and then you can drop their messages, and then we'll read it.
Okay. And we're waiting for callers. Are callers coming in? Are we gonna know?
Yes. So we had one caller on, and we're just waiting for her camera to come on.
Okay. So as soon as they come on, we'll do it. Okay. Waiting on her to come back. Okay.
Yeah.
And the last question, and this is something where it's harder for Michaela and Ugo because your children are still really little, but the question would be, what is it that you need from them or it could be, and Alicia, I wanted to ask you this specifically, like, what do you need from like society in a sense, especially having a special needs child? Like, what is it that you need from us as just listening if we don't have a special needs? What is it, something that you need that from the, society?
In general, I think, again, this is another question that lines up with one of the questions Norma sent. And it asked about what tip would I give?
Okay.
And it's basically this simple. I have never had a kid at this age I'm at. My child has never had a parent at the age that they're at. And that goes for each one of my children. It's a brand new experience. So let us not put any harsh, unrealistic judgments on each other. And I would expect society as well to do for that same for me. I've never been the parent of a special needs kid. This kid is coming into a world she's never been in. And even though there are many kids with Down syndrome, each kid is very different. Her reality, her development is different to everyone. She just started saying mommy, and it was the most beautiful thing for me to hear, and she's going to be 4. She's not yet potty trained. One of our little buddies from her, we have a Down syndrome group that we're a part of. He's in London, and his parent messaged yesterday to say he just got one of his first days of potty training. And I was like, yes, understand that each parent is experiencing something for the very first time. So let's not judge each other. Let's not judge ourselves. Don't put any harsh expectations. Unfortunately, so many of us have been cultured to put expectations on ourselves as parents, not only to live up to what our parents may have been like, but to try to either outdo them or try to perfect on what they may have been imperfect with, not realizing that we are our own, set of parents. And how we maneuver ourselves within the time that we're in, within this particular space of parenting, is what is going to be best for us in this moment at this time. So that is how what I would expect for myself and my children. I say it to them. I do, say it to them all the time. We have never been in this space together at this time. So let's discover it. I don't know as much as you don't know. Right. So I may not always get it right. You're not going to always get it right, but just know mommy is always right. And we laugh about it. But, but we talk, Jackie
Right.
said it in the beginning, communication is the ultimate goal in any relationship. But importantly is to discover that language. Right. We could communicate all we want and speak very different languages and never end up anywhere.
Right.
Speak with the language of love, and it doesn't matter what dialect you use, it will always be delivered. My special needs daughter doesn't use a lot of words, but we know everything. She feels everything. And it's not a word, but love.
I think that's so beautiful. And I feel like each child's language of love can be a little bit different also.
Yes.
Understand. I think that's exactly to that point, that we're different than we were yesterday. Our kids, and then the order of birth is completely different. The gender is different. The time in society is different.
Yes.
With the 4 kids that are 8-year span, it's like the whole social media has changed so many things. But yeah, just being, I feel like just being really present.
Yes.
Children, like constantly, and not like wait until they're teenagers or wait until right now at this moment. So there's a natural space for them to be in.
Yes. Have that one-on-one relationship. Michaela, you guys have 2 girls. You need separate time with each of them. They need their own mommy time one-on-one with you, and they need own daddy time with him. Without just that, because we need that individual relationship with our kids.
Mm-hmm. Right. We used to do date night with our little girlies. Like my husband would take one girl out, each child out separately, and then it would give me time with the other one.
Yes.
Breaks it up, and it makes it fun to get dressed up.
Yes.
So, but what would you guys say? How would you answer the question?
So I'm just trying to. Sorry, I kind of stepped out because my daughter and dog were going off at each other. But what the question that you asked? What was it aligned? What was it around? I'm trying to get it, like,
And
so I know how to answer.
so the question is, it's harder it's more for like, what do you need from your child? What is something that you would need from them, or what would you need from, oh, nice, no one else is here, or from like society, as far as being a parent. If my child's acting out and I'm at a store, please, understand that this is, if they don't have children, like, what's something that you need from your children or from society as being a parent?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, honestly, is just I keep using this word and almost feels like I'm beating a dead horse, but it's compassion, honestly, because the compassion, if you break it down, it's basically, and I think someone said it on this call, is it comes down to putting yourself in that person's shoes. In other words, would you want what is being done to you to be done to others? So to take it a step further, if we're in the store and my daughter started crying, or even better yet, today when we went to the restaurant and my two daughters started just misbehaving, I just expect people to just, I don't want to say expect them, but I would hope that they would understand that we're doing our best to basically bring it all back down, like as far as like keeping them doing the right things and not like misbehaving as much as they are at the time. And also just keeping in mind too that there are a lot of things that are going into that. I have this kid's taking a nap. Are they hungry? Are they tired? Whatever it is. And so that's where the whole idea of compassion comes in for me. And I say that, like I say it now, and also that's because we have kids, but that's something they taught us. They taught us to have compassion and extend that compassion to other people. So putting ourselves in that situation too, when we are now on the other end of other kids, just like acting out or doing certain things, rather than us like, oh my gosh, like why they like this is like annoying us, like why are they crying so much? We put ourselves in their shoes. Well, if we're in the same boat, if we're in the same shoes, like our kids started doing the same thing, would we expect someone to like have compassion towards us? And if the answer is yes, then we need to extend that same compassion towards them. So I think that would be my biggest take on that. I don't know if you have anything to say.
I think there's a couple things that come to mind. And the first is like expectations. I think, Alicia, I think you talked about that too. But we have expectations for ourselves. We have expectations for each other as parents. And then there's like this society expectations. And I think that's like, especially with social media and all the different social platforms, there's so much like expectations and judgment. And I think like coming back to like grace, like let's have grace for ourselves. Let's have grace for others. Kind of circling back to like not judging. And it can be hard because you can, you're going to think like the way you think, of course, is in your opinions are the right way of doing things and the best way of doing things. But I think just trying to, just be like, give grace. If you see somebody in the store that maybe needs help because their hands are full, hey, is there anything I can do to help you? Like just offering like love and grace would be kind of like my best advice of what to give, as well as what I would love to get in return. So I think that's kind of, the word that came to mind was just like, this is a year. I think everybody just wants a little grace. We just need a little grace in our lives. So, so I think that's what came to mind.
That's beautiful. And I think that's so like, bring it from the mountaintops. Just grace. And something came to mind when you're speaking as far as like judgment. I heard something, we're reading something that we cannot judge anything until we know the entire story, and we will never know the entire story. It's like basically we can't judge it, right? We don't know, so we can't judge it. We have Frances on the line. Can Frances? Hey,
Frances.
Hi, Frances. That's your sister? Yes?
Yes.
Oh, hi. Nice to meet you. I understand you have an answer to a question. We're gonna go ahead.
I joined late,
That's
so
okay. That's okay.
please repeat. I would greatly appreciate it.
It's really
Oh,
hard
did
to
you
hear.
not hear me? I said if you could please repeat the question. I would greatly appreciate it.
Oh yes. So the question was going to be to say what is it that you love about your parents? Because it's going to be from the parents to the offspring, right? But are your parents on the line? Can they hear you? They can't hear you. Okay. What's something that you love about your parents? Because we're all parents. It's nice to hear from the other side.
Oh, my parents. Wow, man. Uh, there's so many things I love about my parents, but one thing I love about. Sorry, I have a cold. I just love how supportive my parents are. They're very supportive of our decisions, of the choices that we make, the decisions that we take, and just supportive in general. That's one. That's the very first thing that came to my mind when you asked me the question. So that's the very first thing that I would say. And there's a whole list I could go on and on and on. Well, that's the one thing that is really dear to me is they are they are very big on being very supportive and yes, that's one thing I love about my parents.
It's beautiful to hear as parents, right? To know that is like the number one thing, and it sounds like everybody is doing that already on every level and every season. Supportive. That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. Yes.
Alicia has to. Alicia needs to. Alicia was
Yes.
gonna leave her thought. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. What did you want me to
No,
do?
I think. Oh, did Alicia already leave her? I know the question that you asked before. I know Ugo and Michaela went, but did Alicia go?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
well,
Okay.
go ahead, Francis.
Well,
You have
we're now at 1 minute. We're at an hour, so are we
yes.
still?
So I was just,
We made it.
I was just gonna say, like, thank you to each and every one of you. I know my sister did leave a message, and she said, my sister Ekene, she couldn't join, but she said, I just want to thank you for taking care of us and giving us all that they could. The advice that they gave to us in many life circumstances and obstacles until today, they continue to be our greatest supporter. Just pretty much going up of what Frances said. And also, they don't seek anything in return. They just do it out of the kindness of their hearts. And I couldn't agree more. I love my parents and I love everything about them. I love that they gave us everything that they could. And they are still giving us and still supporting us in all our journey. They are my biggest supporters. They have supported me the whole way through, and my family, they're all on here, the ones that are here and the ones that couldn't make it. They have been behind me from the beginning till now. And with that, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone. Thank you to everyone that joined on. Nadia, I want to give you a shout out. Happy birthday. Have a phenomenal birthday. I cannot even imagine that you are still hosting this on your birthday. I want to say thank you because I know you could be having dinner or having, spending time with your family. I want to thank you for putting up this whole production. I want to thank each and every one of the listeners out there for being here with me and all the wonderful guests today. Have a wonderful day. Thank you and God bless.
Oh, I love it.